Hi there, Year 2 children. Hope you're well. I hope you're behaving well too for whoever's looking after you. Going to keep reading The Nothing to See Here Hotel. Can you remember Prince Grobber had arrived and he was being a royal pain, wasn't he? I think he was treating everybody a bit like slaves, and he looked out the window, didn't he? And he saw something. Can you remember what it was? That's right, it was the sea. It was the beach up right in front. And he thought it was a pool. And he went to go and see the pool because he wanted it, because he's that spoiled. Chapter 18, then it's called The Beach. No! Mum screamed. She ran across the reception hall, jangling as she went. Frankie, stop him! We can't let people see him. I spun back towards the door and saw Grobber's little naked bottom wobbling down the garden path. In a moment, he'd be through the front gate and out onto the pavement amongst hundreds of human tourists. Quick! Mum huffed as she darted past me, pinching her nose. Any second the spell on the doorstep would mean her poor human nostrils would be filled with the stench of Brussels sprouts. She hated them. Do you remember that's what happened to try and make people avoid going into the hotel? Oh no, oh no, oh no! Dad was hot on Mum's heels. He'll blow our cover completely. I jumped down the steps onto the front path to see Grobber pushing open the gate and scurrying through it. It's mine! Grobber yelled over his shoulder as he hopped across the pavement. There were families strolling in both directions and traffic for as far as the eye could see. It would take only seconds before he was flattened by a car and we'd all be arrested for royal murder. Or worse. He'd be spotted and our secret would be ruined forever. Prince Grobber! Mum was practically screeching. She reached the gate and hurtled over it like a deranged Christmas decoration. The prince darted between the legs of two men holding hands and pushing a pushchair. Ha ha! Out of my way, pathetic humans! This was it. The Nothing to See Here Hotel was going to be exposed and we'd be run out of town like monsters. Woo! It was Mum. Wah, wah, wee! Dad and I stopped in our tracks at the gate and stared. Yahoo! Mum raised her arms in the air and she shimmered. Her jingly-jangly top tinkled loudly as she jumped about. Ooh-ah-ee! You genius, I thought to myself. Everyone on the pavement, including a shocked-looking dog, was gawping at Mum. There they are. Remember, she was dressed as a belly dancer. She whistled and whooped and twirled her way into the road. Cars screeched their brakes and drivers leaned out of their windows agog at the bonkers belly dancer. Where is he? Dad said. Quick, while everyone's distracted. I scanned the road and pavement on the other side. For a second I thought we'd lost the little twerp. Then I caught a glimpse of him waddling out from under an ice cream van and heading down onto the pebbles. He's already on the beach, I told Dad. Oh, this is bad. Dad grabbed me by the hand and pulled me across the road. My eyes darted back and forth trying to spot Grobber. Normally the beach was only filled with old people snoring in their deck chairs on weekday afternoons, but I could already see a big group of children on a school trip heading towards us in the distance. And... Ah! Dad spotted them too. Way ahead of us, too far to catch him, Grobber was skittering straight towards the big class of kids. I couldn't hear what he was shouting, but he was waving his stumpy arms, so I guess he was ordering them to get away from his plunge pool. We're done for, Dad said. Think of something, Mum yelled as she caught up with us. There has to be a... Hello, darlings. We spun round, and standing right behind us were three very old men in crumpled suits. Each of them had an enormous white beard and gappy, rotten teeth. Mum said. I'm sorry, we haven't got time to. It's us, the three men said in union. The Molar Sisters. There they are, dressed up as three men. The Molar Sisters? Dad gasped. They each pulled a magic wand from one of their crumpled suit pockets and winked. We haven't played with a spot of magic in yonks. Mum looked like she was about to cry. "You brilliant men! Ladies, men! Where is little Brighter?" said the sisters. Dad pointed at Grogber, who was only a few seconds away from running head first into the school children and blowing the secret of the hotel for good. "Oh, blunkin' blunions," the Molar sisters said when they spotted the prince. "We need to clear this beach, quick!" With that, they mumbled a few odd-sounding words under their breath and gave a violent flick of their wrists. I'd never seen tooth fairies casting spells before, but it wasn't quite as impressive as I'd hoped. One of their wands snapped as they flicked it, and another let go of hers and lobbed it into the sea. "That ought to do it." "What ought to do it?" said Mum after a few seconds. "What did you actually do?" "Just you watch," the Molar sister said, grinning proudly. Suddenly, the pebbles on the beach seemed to lurch under our feet, and the air was filled with a strange crunching sound. "Look!" Dad said, and pointed at the ground. All of the pebbles were jumping and jostling about. Then, one by one, they sprouted legs and little eyes on stalks. Before we knew it, Brighton Beach had been replaced by millions and millions of tiny hermit crabs. They scuttled about and tumbled over each other. "Ugh!" Mum yelled. "They're disgusting!" "Exactly," Dad said. "You did it!" He scooped the three old men into a bear hug. They're the hermit crabs. Dad was right. I looked along the beach and saw all the human tourists screaming and running for the safety of the pavement to the top of the swarm of crabs. The Molar sisters had cleared the beach before anyone could spot Prince Grogber, who was now flailing about, kicking and swatting at the little creatures. There he is. Stark naked too. Ah! "Oof, here to help," came another voice from behind us. Oof was still wearing his massive straw hat and sunglasses and had wrapped himself in one of Mum's sarongs from the kitchen laundry pile. It was a pretty convincing disguise. "Get him, quick!" Dad said, pointing at the prince. "Oof, grab grog," Oof shouted and loped off across the crabs. Then, just when I thought the ogre would snatch Grogber off his feet, Oof jumped into the air and came crashing down on top of him, wrestling the prince flat. "Got him!" Oof shouted, waving back at us. "Grogber grabbed!" Chapter 19. The plot thickens. Wow, we've made it to chapter 19. It's a good story, isn't it? Well, don't go anywhere just yet, because it's almost time for the big, massive climactic plot twist. All the best stories have one. Prince Grogber was in a foul mood by the time we'd all raced back across the crab-infested beach and got him safely into the hotel. Oof dropped him into the middle of the reception hall floor, and everyone stepped away, eyeing him nervously. Grogber's goblin subjects and the other guests were crowded up the great staircase. They'd been watching at the windows and saw the whole fiasco unravel. "I hate you!" Grogber finally screeched when he clambered back onto his feet. "This is the worst hotel in the world!" "Oh dear," said the three old men in crumpled suits as their features melted back to those of the Molar sisters. "What a thulky tho-and-tho." Two of the prince's slaves ran forward and helped him get dressed back into his golden robes, and Nancy approached with a glass of frog grog. "Maybe a wee tipple would cheer you up," she said. Prince Grogber snatched the glass and hurled it at the wall. "You think I want to drink anything in this honk-hole?" he screamed in Nancy's face. If the prince's face wasn't greyish-green, I'd swear he was turning purple with rage. It was quite something to watch. "If I'd known I'd have to do with this," Grogber shouted, gesturing around the room. "Commoners and peasants and humans, I would never have chosen to hide out here." Grogber realised what he'd just said and clamped his little hands over his mouth. So that's why he's there. He's hiding out. "What?" said Mum. "Did you just say?" "Nothing!" The royal shouter ran forward and stood between us and Grogber. "The prince didn't say anything. We're not hiding out. Who said anything about hiding out?" "Yes, we're just having a winksy little holiday," Grogber said, laughing nervously. We're definitely not on the run, and I'm certain that I didn't steal anything from a rival clan of goblins who are now after us. Grogbear stared at us with wide eyes. You little criminal, Dad said, rolling up his sleeves and trying to look tough. You come into my family hotel, then insult us, humiliate us, wreck the place and nearly blow our secret because you've broken the law? Now can we eat him? Said Madam Macready. Oof, squish him, said Oof, raising a huge foot in the air. Grogbear's eyes looked like they were about to pop out of his skull. He looked at the royal shouter, then at the gaggle of us standing around him, then back to the royal shouter. He said, Guards, arrest everyone! And they did. There was nothing we could do. Goblin weapons are sharp, you know. By the time night fell, we'd all been sitting about for hours. The little pouting pumpkin's guards surrounded us with their spears and made every non-goblin sit on the floor in the middle of the room. Things were looking pretty hopeless, but you'll be glad to know it didn't end there. I bet you're wondering just who Grogbear had stolen something from, aren't you? I know I was. It was all I could think about. Well, you're about to find out. We were all sitting in silence, except the prince. He was hunched over a little table, noisily scoffing the remains of Nancy's garden feast when it happened. I was sitting on the floor, bored with a numb bottom, and I had no idea, not a clue, not the tiniest inkling that everything was about to go woomph. The woomfiest woomph I'd ever seen or heard. I wonder exactly what Prince Grogbear has stolen from whom and what exactly the woomph is all about. Your two children will keep on reading this book after the Easter weekend. Have a nice Easter. I hope you stay safe and remember our school motto, if you see someone without a smile, give them one of yours and keep smiling.